Hey, so in this lesson, I'm going to show you how to take the complement of a double negative joint probability question. You know, when we're speaking in English and we use two negatives, it becomes a positive, right? And oftentimes, if you use two negatives, there's a much easier way to say what you're trying to say. For example, if I say that I do not want to not go to the mall, then that means that I want to go to the mall. Okay, so we're going to have this double negative idea in our brains while we approach today's lesson. There's not much new content in today's lesson, though, so we're just going to go back and review just a bit. We know that the probabilities in a Venn diagram should sum to equal 1. Given the Venn diagram on the right, an appropriate equation representing this fact should be A plus B plus C plus D. If we add up all those, then we should have 1. Okay? This total up here should be 1. Now, if it's a number like 500, then all these other letters don't represent probabilities, they represent numbers. So you would take those numbers and divide by 500, and that would give you the probability. Okay, so you would get 1 either way. But for our example today, we're just assuming that all of these are decimals, and those decimals better add up to 1. Okay? So using capital letters, the following is also true. If I took the probability of A or B, well, that'd be these three letters, A, B, C. And then I added on not that, well, not those three letters, that'd be letter D. Well, if I add those two things together, then I would get 1. And by the same lot, well, sorry, I'm going to back up just a hair here. So we're getting 1 there. And then A intersected B, well, that's this middle part. That's just that B there. Okay? So that'd be B plus, and then not that section. Well, not that section's all these other sections, right? So in effect, I've added all 4 letters. So if I'm adding 4 letters, all 4 letters again, then of course my sum is just 1. All right? So let's go back and talk about what we just did there. A or B, we decided, is 3 letters, A plus B plus C in our Venn diagram. So the complement of that is just the other letter. A intersected B is their overlap. So their overlap is just at B. And then, if we're going to complement that, that just means every other letter. So A, C, and D would be added together. Okay, so once you're super comfortable with those definitions, it's time to approach a question that has something like a double negative. All right? So it can be helpful to rewrite an intersection with multiple negations by taking out the apostrophe, taking out the negation of the event happening. The process looks a lot like taking out a common factor with which we are familiar. It also changes the union and intersection symbol as seen below. Well, before we do that, what if I had something like, I'm just going to remind us of something in algebra. What if I had negative x minus 5? And I told you just to factor out a negative. If you factored out a negative, then you would write the negative out front, and then you'd change this one's symbol to positive x, and you would change that one's symbol to positive 5. So our probability questions are going to kind of look like that, with the addition of, it also changes the union and intersection symbol. Okay, so here are the two questions that I'm thinking of. If I were to have A prime intersected with B prime, or if I had A prime union with B prime. So in this case, I'm kind of have a double negative. And that means that there might be an easier way to write this. So, not in A intersected with not in B. Well, if I take out an apostrophe, I'm going to take it out and write it on the outside of the parentheses to stay consistent with what we've seen in the past. So that A prime becomes A, the and becomes a union, the intersection symbol becomes a union, and the B prime becomes a B. So actually, we already know that one, and that one is just letter D. The next problem, we're going to also factor out an apostrophe. I call it factor out just so you can know, just so you understand kind of what we're doing there. We're taking it out, I guess. We're rewriting it in a simpler way. The A prime becomes A, the union becomes an intersection, the B prime becomes B. And then we're complementing that, right? So A intersect B is just small letter B, so the complement of that is A plus C plus D. So that would be A plus C plus D. One thing that I failed to mention, and I think is kind of helpful, is that when you go back up here and you look at A intersect B, or I'm sorry, A union B, with A union B prime. Oh, I did say that, I think. They add up to 1. Maybe I didn't say it in this line. But A plus B plus C plus D. You have all 4 letters. Again, up here you have B plus A plus C plus D. So that one also adds up to 1. So that's why those add up to 1, is because you're adding up all 4 letters. Alright? So I'll just make that little note there. And then I think that is it for today. Alright, let me know if you have any questions.